And the start signals there.
There we have it.
Again, an international fleet, which is always great to see.
Yeah, very international fleet. I was gonna say we don't have any duplicate countries, but actually we do with the French, with Shadow Sail and Alcalea.
Yeah, and I guess for Japan as well, but still, it's
And Japan as well. So yeah, what am I watching? I'm not sure. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, Japan and France both have the same the duplicates. We already have a Serre in the second knockout who qualified for the grand final, and it was Nozet in the first one. So one French, one Spanish already in the grand final. As we have 30 seconds to go before they can cross the start line. Flying 75 is not a boat that we see very often in finals, I'm gonna say. So what can we say about this boat?
yeah. I like this boat. To be honest, the design is slick. It's a monohull boat with some foiling arms. It's quite lightweight and aerodynamic, and yeah, it's gonna be they'll, like we said, there gonna be some flying tonight, and a lot of high speed battles.
Yeah, it's a boat that can go very fast in a straight line, right? Not
Yeah, yeah,
necessarily very maneuverable when it has to turns. When it has to turn,
exactly.
sorry. And
Exactly, yeah, yeah. The speed control is key with this boat. You'll have to time really well your tacks and jibes, because the maneuver time is not really short. So that's why you have to time it really well to not get any penalties or to not touch any marks. And while saying that, also you have to we have borders in this course, so uh, you'll have to be careful with those as well, with the ley lines and the course boards.
yes, so it's a quite narrow course actually for the Flying 75, where you will, as we said, you go past in the straight line, but you're going to very quickly reach the boundaries as the players over here are reaching this first upwind gate. They're going to have to make a choice between left or right.
I would always choose right in this scenario, because then when you're jibing, you'll have the starboard advantage. And with these boats, having the starboard advantage and minimizing the jibes you're gonna do while heading downwind, it's quite important. So that's what Shadow Sailing doing to protect his leadership at the moment.
Yep, and it's going to be 5 races in total, so 4 races with all 11 players, and then the last race is going to be a medal race with only the top 4. So in these first 4 races, the goal is to reach the top 4, and then when you're in the top 4, obviously it's to win to get your place in the grand final for a burger prize at the end of the event that we will be sharing soon in the in-game news and in the different notices.
Yeah, Shadow Sail is leading solidly the fleet at the moment. If he doesn't take any risks, I think he'll guarantee his first place in this first match, first race of the night. Let's see. And I see Halkalea is already using one of our brand new skins. I don't know if you have noticed that, Oscar.
I haven't. Sorry, I was looking at the scoreboard to update the different people. But you're right. Alcalera is rocking the Modulo skin. It was added a couple of months back, and maybe soon we'll see some players putting the Kaleidoscope skin.
Yeah, I already started using it. It is a fun one. If you wanna stay different, grab attention in the fleet, it's the skin to go.
We're gonna focus maybe a bit on Schleg over here in fourth. So as Shadow Sail is crossing the first finish line in this first race, and he leads the event after race 1. Seems to be the last one to cross the finish line. There we have it. First race over. Shadow Sail in first, Ame in second, Alkalea in third, Schleg in fourth. And as I said, in these first 4 races, you're going to be trying to reach that top 4 spot to then get access to the medal race. And it's going to be 4 times the exact same race. So it's going to be a matter of consistency as well.
I'll go with the Japanese players. And what about you?
I really don't know.
Yeah.
If we're
a lot of good players.
A lot of good players. We have some returning players as well. I'm gonna say thank you, Liam Dimmock, for the follow. Nice to see you there. In the first race, you see Shadow Sail, formerly known as Pepito, who's like a French legend, if you could say. Ame has almost always been in the finals. Alkalea the same, Schleg as well. Kazuki was one of the finalists, so was Lorenzo. So it is quite a heavy roster. So to pick one with a boat that we're not used to see in finals like this, I don't know which one to take.
Yeah, as you can see, every player's placing themselves by the community boat, because doing a starboard as a start is a really advantageous here, because you cannot just tack and cross over the fleet. We had someone trying a port tack start, which was not successful, unfortunately.
Yeah, they got to be careful with the penalty start as well. Penalty start detection is active, which means that if you take a penalty close to the start, and while in that penalty, take a second penalty and cross the start line on port tack, you will get an extra 10-second slowdown from the game called a pen start. And we see a couple of penalties here as the fleets, Lorenzo, Shadow Sail, and Japan 985 decides to tack and cross. Again, on starboard. Starboard has the advantage, so you gotta let them pass.
Yeah. And Shadow Sail's doing another solid start here. He's in a great spot. I'll probably
indeed, great start for Shadow Sail. So first in the first race, currently leading this race with Lorenzo, our Italian grand finalists in Stockholm. With Japan 985 on their heels, Team Seri meanwhile is 5th, decides to go on the left mark. And a Stipe Coach Croatia with Alkalea decides to also go on the left mark and stay on starboard tack, while everyone else decided to go on port.
Yeah, I think that's the key when you're racing with this boat. Even the weather, even if it's the Pinan that has the advantage on the start line, you'll just try to get your start from the committee boat side, because you'll have the starboard advantage, as you said, and you'll probably have the control over the fleet if you manage to do a clean start. And for the moment, this is what Shadow Sail being doing. He's staying close to committee boat.
The strategy with the Flying 75 is going to be very different than the other boats we're used to seeing, where you can take, for example, the J70 or the Ilka or the Star, where you'll have a lot of battles in the downwind with the wind shadow. With the Flying 75, that's not really the case. It's a foiling boat, so you're going faster than the wind, meaning that the wind shadow is always going to be behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't really use it to attack or to defend yourself. So as you said, it's really being able to read the wind, taking the correct shifts, avoiding penalties when you can, and well, Lorenzo and Shadow Soul are doing it perfectly this race.
Yeah.
With Lorenzo creating a bigger lead. And he's going to sail almost straight to the finish line, flying at almost 40 knots.
Gotta be a good feeling, huh? Knowing you're in the lead and no one can catch up
Yeah, as long as you don't, as we don't jinx it.
because you have the wind shadow behind your boat, which is quite ideal while sailing in downwind.
So I guess with the Flying 75, the start is even more crucial because
It is. It is.
with every player being really a top level over here, you can't really hope for someone making a mistake because they're likely not going to make it.
One mistake and they'll just fly away.
Yep. As Lorenzo is the first one to cross the finish line for race number 2, Shadow Sail is going to be close behind. Looks like Japan 985, sorry, is going to be taking third spot, and then it's going to be fight for between Dean Series, Mendes, and Shiloh Finn for that fourth place. Kazuki is going to be 7, Schleg and Stipe Coach are going to fight for that 9. It looks like Schleg took it, Alcalea in 11, and Alcalea in 10, and Ame in 11. And this is race number 2. You have the score on your screen over here. The top 4 being Lorenzo, Shadow Sail, Japan 985, and Deep Study. We have the overall score. Shadow Sail is leading the overall scoreboard with 3 points, first and second. Lorenzo jumps up to second with 7 points in total. Japan 985 with 12 points is tied with Schleg and Kazuki. And I'll explain in just a second how the tiebreak works. In the event of a tie, which is the case between Japan 95, Schleg, and Kazuki, you're gonna list all the results from every player, from best to worst, and you're gonna compare them. And at the first point difference, you're gonna give the advantage to the one with the best score. So Japan 985 best score was 3rd, Schleg was 4th, and Kazuki was 5th. So 3 is better than 4, so Japan 95 goes first. 4 is better than 5, so Schleg goes before Kazuki. And all 11 players are in. It is time to start. Race number 3, sorry.
Yeah, and the start procedure is here. In 1 minute, we'll start the third race of the night. Let's see if Shadow Sail will stay consistent in top 3 or top 5 and still be in the lead, or Lorenzo, the Italian talent, will catch up. Let's see.
With 40 seconds to go, we can say that the starting zone is quite small for such a fast boat, which means that they're going to have to find their position and maneuver nicely to avoid any penalties. And
yes, exactly.
Because you wanna keep your momentum going. You don't want to start from a full stop.
A lot of
the finish line, the start line is fast. Sorry.
Because you'll either be controlled or you'll either need a boat that is controlling the others. So you have to place yourself really good, and you can just speed up and join the fleet a bit later on to squeeze in at the last minute and find a space. It's a bit risky, but sometimes it pays off. So a lot of points.
And start has been given. We see 2 penalties, one from Ame, who took a 10, I believe it was, and the other was Dimseli, I believe. So let's follow our current top 4: Shadow Sail, Lorenzo, Japan 985, and Schleg. Lorenzo and Schleg are in the top 3. Shadow Sail is currently 9th. He's the pink boat on the top of your screen over there. And Japan 985, now takes the lead.
Yeah, but Sidelo Finn coming starboard and Japan 985 will lose a lot of speed after tacking. Let's see how they will cross.
Exactly. We actually have another three-way tie after the three-way tie for third and fourth. It's going to be a three-way tie for 6, 7, and 8 between Ame, Alcalea, and Shide Lofin. They're at 13 points, so that's just 1 point behind the third. And well, so far, Shadowsail has a 4-point lead on second place, so he is doing good. Currently at fifth. Second place is Lorenzo with 7 points.
Yeah, and he's not too far from the leading group,
Exactly,
actually.
yeah.
He's in a good spot if he just maintains this without getting any penalties, and the round marking will be quite critical at the moment. Let's see. Which boy would you mark? Would you round here?
Let's go with the top few. It's very even, to be fair. I think I would have gone left, but not sure that's the correct call.
Yeah, the left, you
Most
mean?
of them,
Yeah, I would have done choose the right one, and I think this is what they're doing. Because it will
We
be
see
the
Zemendas going maybe a bit too deep on the boundaries over here, taking a 10-second slowdown. We're actually averaging at 27 knots in this race.
Lorenzo's coming in full speed, but
Yeah.
no, that was not enough.
Lorenzo rides 6th in the first race, 1st in the second race. Currently 2nd. Japan 985 did a 9 and 3, and 3rd overall is currently 1st in this race. We see there is more pressure on the left side, or on the right side of the course if you're watching it the correct way. So we see the speed difference between Japan 985 and Stipe Coach, almost 10 knots different at some point. As Japan 985 will be the first one to cross the finish line for race number 3, followed by Lorenzo and Scheidlefin. Schleg after them. As the rest of the fleet closes in. And this is race number 3. So Japan 985, Lorenzo, Scheidlefin, and Schleg are the top 4 for this race. And we're very shortly going to head over to race number 4, which will be the last race before the medal race. It's going to be a very quick event tonight. Shadowsail keeps the lead, is at 9 points, but Lorenzo is now tied with him at 9 points as well. Japan 985 keeps his 3rd place with 13 points, and Scheidlefin takes number 4 from Schleg at 16 points, but they are still no, they weren't tied before. But a 16-point tie for 4th place between Scheidlefin and Schleg.
Let's go.
So last race to reach the top 4 position. Just as a quick recap, it's a tie for 1st and 2nd between Shadowsail and Lorenzo with 9 points. It's 13 points for Japan 985, and then it's a tie for number 4 between Scheidlefin and Schleg with 16 points. 4 points behind them is Mendes in 6th. 5 points behind the 16, so at 21 points in total is Ame and Kazuki. Alkila and Stipe Coach are at 24 points, both for 9 and 10. Team Suri is at 11 with 25 points. So there we have it. And Chris1707D, nice to see you in the chat. Who is Shadowsail? Shadowsail is a well-known French sailor, formerly known as Pepito. And 10 seconds to go.
Let's see.
So we have a false start over here by Lorenzo.
Great start by Dempsey.
By Shadowsail. So our top 2 both did a false start. And that's going to be good for Japan 985, Shiloh Finn, Schleg, maybe Zemendes, maybe Ame as well. I think it's going to be a bit harder for Alcalá and Stipe Coach. They're 8 points behind, number 4th. So still possible, but hard.
Yeah, things are not going good for Schleg. He's not on the advantageous side of the race course.
No, but he has a priority, and that benefited him with Stipe Coach Croatia. That's going to force Mendes as well to sail below. As Kazuki rounds the top mark first, Japan 985, Shiloh Finn very close behind. So race number 3 had 27 knots in average on the race course. This one will have 20 knots, so we're going into something maybe closer to normal. And Kazuki, Shiloh Finn, Japan 985 are our top 3 right now. They have a decent lead on the remaining of the fleet.
Yeah, it's good to see finally Kazuki's on the lead. He didn't do some great racing tonight.
He did 5th in the first race, 7th in the second, and 9 in the third.
Yeah. Which are not good results for Kazuki, but I have to say, he's one of the best from Japan. Yeah, Shiloh Finn was getting close, so Kazuki's tacking on him.
Yeah, and the gap actually got reduced between that top 3 and the rest of the fleet.
For these boats with these speeds, when you're foiling 20 meters of distances between boats are nothing actually.
Yeah, the boat is almost 20 meters itself.
Exactly.
But at the moment, Kazuki is maintaining his lead. Shiloh Finn is second, Japan 985 still third, but is close with Ame in fourth.
So Lorenzo's in the final position.
And Lorenzo is 11th exactly. Shadow Cell is 6th, so that means that Shadow Cell is likely gonna keep the lead. As the players are starting to cross the finish line, Kazuki first, Shiloh Finn second, Japan 985 third, Ame fourth. Looks like Alcarea took 5th. And Lorenzo taking a penalty here from Dim Mystery. He was trying to make sure that he could still reach that top 4. But here is our top 4. Shadow Sail in first with 15 points, Japan 985 in second with 16 points, Shiloh Finn Pole 6 with 18 points in third, Lorenzo in fourth with 20 points. So we're going to switch to the medal race. This is going to be the last race. Medal race counts double. It's going to be the top 4 only. So these 4 players that you see in the top 4 on your screen. And there we have it.
The final
Start procedure has been given. They have 1 minute, 10 seconds to position themselves for the start. And then it's going to be this race that decides who qualifies for the grand final. The grand final is going to be happening in mid-December. and you're going to have 20 in total of these knockouts and K challenges. Each of the K challenges, the top 3, will receive prizes, and obviously the winners of the grand final will also receive prizes, the podium at least. So winning the challenge will give you some prizes, and then winning the knockout will guarantee your place, will give your place to the grand final, which will in return, if you win that one, give bigger prizes. With 15 seconds to go,
Tidlofin is really in a good position here. He's not squeezed.
and we have a false start by Lorenzo. Unfortunate for him. Shilofin apparently touched the mark as well.
I feel like I jinxed him, but that's not on me because he was at the pin end in a good position on the leeboard, controlling the boats.
Yeah, and well, it's gonna benefit Japan. Shadow Sail over here. Japan 985 in third, fighting for second place with Shiloh Finn. But Shiloh Finn has more win than Shadow Sail. And well, we see Breast Power in the chat saying it's a win for Pepito. Pepito being Shadow Sail.
He might be
not
right.
not yet, not yet.
Things are not looking good for Lorenzo at the moment.
It's going to be very hard for Lorenzo to come back into first. And Shadow Sail just needs to like sail normally and cleanly.
Exactly.
Because he has the lead, and you can't really attack, as we said earlier with the Flying 75. You can't really slow down your opponents that well. So as long as he reads the ships correctly, does the sails normally, it should be okay. So let's not jinx it. Let's try to see some Shiloh Finn action. He's currently second. He wants to have that first place, obviously. Let's see what he does. Japan 985 as well.
But even Cyclope Finn manages to get in front of Shadow Sail, it will still not be enough. Because they have 3 points of difference.
Correct.
So he'll have to put another boat in between them. Which will not be easy.
Well, basically, if what could happen? Well, he needs to make sure that he passes in front Shadow Sail and that Japan 985 as well. But if Japan 985 passes in front of Shadow Sail, I think Japan 985 wins. Because he's only 1 point behind Shadow Sail.
Correct, yeah.
So he needs Lorenzo to come up in the rankings. As they are starting the last downwind over here. Shadow Sail still in the lead. Shadow Finn still in second place. Japan 985 still in third, and Lorenzo still in fourth. And I don't see this ranking changing until the finish line. Shadowsail
Easy.
crosses the finish line. That's a win for him for this event. Shiloh in second, Japan 985 in third, and Lorenzo is going to be fourth. Which means that we can now show the final scoreboard. There you have it, and it's time for us to congratulate Shadowsail as well. So is the winner of Knockouts 3 in the K Championship. He's going to qualify for the grand final in mid-December. Shadowfin takes second place with 22 points, tied with Japan 985. And Lorenzo is fourth with 28 points. Again, congratulations to Shadowsail for qualifying for the grand final of the K Championship by K Challenge. Congratulations to all the other sailors as well. It was one of the tighter knockouts that I've seen in this K Championship. If you recall, in the previous one, I believe it was Sarah just dominating from start to finish. Kind of the same with Nozet in the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I guess it's time for us to wrap it up. It was a short final, very fast final, but it's expected with this kind of boat. We're going to see you in the next K Championship, which will be happening in more or less 20 days.
Yes. Happy Easter, everyone.
And happy Easter to everyone. Indeed. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Congratulations to Shadowsail. Omer, thank you a lot for joining me tonight. And this has been Oscar, your host, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you, everyone.
Bye.